Hey, how's it going? This is Joe, the freaky fish guy. Not playing Goaty this time, funnily enough. But I just participated in the Rhode Island regional this past weekend, and I ended up topping with the list that I'm about to show you. I got 19th place overall in 8 rounds, so I went 6-2. And yeah, so before that, few quick shout outs to the guys who came with me. Graham, Drew, Pat, and Ian. They were all like super supportive that the entire day, and my friend Drew also ended up topping. He got 9th place playing Fire King, so big shout outs to him for doing so well. Also, shout out to Sean for letting me post this on his YouTube channel, and then quick small shout out to Josh Schmidt because he was the inspiration for this deck. He made me want to play a Runic build again. So yeah. So let's just get into the deck profile real quick. It is a Runic deck. So we start off with the typical Runic counts for all the 3 of the Runic spells, and I opted to play for 17 Runic spells. I believe that's correct. Yeah, 17 Runic spells. I went instead. Some people play one Dispelling and one of the oh, what the hell is it called? The one that banishes a number of cards on your opponent's side field up to the number that they have. I decided not to play that because this is a more combo oriented Runic build. The spells in here are mostly just acting as 1-for-1 trades, and then you like rarely have Fountain up, so I just wanted like all the Runic spells that were the most like impactful, and I think Dispelling right now is more impactful than the other one, so I decided to play 2 for that to get to my 17. And then the rest are stock standard. So the one interesting thing, like I just said, since this is a more combo oriented version of Runic, I was only playing 1 Fountain. I didn't want to see this in my opening hand as much as like a regular Runic build did, because like my combo just needs 1 Runic spell and a level 4 tuner. So like hard opening Fountain like wasn't as nice. I'd rather like see it through my combo when I'm drawing a bunch of cards, or in like cases where my entire hand is Runic spells, then I'll search it. But that's really not the main goal of the deck. Like if the end board ends on Fountain, like you're like, it's just an extra point of like interaction that your opponent has to deal with. It's not like the main point of interaction, I'd say. So only 1 Fountain, which is a little different than most other like Runic builds. Then we have the Bystial package. So I was playing 2 Lebellion, 1 Magnemite, 1 Druisworm, and 1 Saronir as my Bystial package, along with the 1 Regained. So you might kind of see that it's like much smaller for like a Bystial Runic deck. That's because throughout the combo you actually search Lebellion, so you have access to this line like if you go through the combo like uninterrupted. So these cards you see like every single one of them like if you do the typical line. So I didn't want to play more, especially since the Bystials aren't that good in the meta right now. I opted to cut 3 of the Bystials for 3 more just regular non-engine, which you'll see later. But these came up like really good. A couple of my matchups were against Tyr and Branded, where these were just great. So the Bystials are still good, but they're not as like good as they used to be. I played against 3 Fire King today, so I was like very glad that I cut more of the Bystials for more non-engine, because that came up a lot more than the Bystials would have in those matchups, and that's what helped me win 2 out of those 3 Fire King matchups. So yeah, these cards are great. And they really help your plays continue like through hand traps and stuff like that too. So really good cards. And Regained is a house. Lord God, Regained is a house. This card is insane. It just wins so many games on its own. So now for the spice of this deck, which another shout out to Sean for helping me come up with this combo and these lines with these cards, because I think it's pretty sweet. And big shouts to him for spending a long night trying to figure out the lines for this deck. So we're playing 3 Stardust Synchron and 3 Tuning. This is the card that you want to see in your opener. This is your combo starter, is Stardust Synchron. And at the end of the video, I'll go through a quick the combo line to show what I mean by that. But so these are your tuners, your level 4 tuner for the entire deck that you want to see in your opener all the time. Also, tuning in a Runic deck is great because you're milling one card at the top of your deck, and every single Runic spell in your graveyard is just more possible draws off Fountain if you end up getting Fountain online. I also had a couple games where the one mill was like a Saronir or a Lubellion, and it's like that's also just like crazy. Just getting those cards in the graveyard in rotation is like really nice. So that's your level 4 tuner. Next is just a secondary target for tuning, Assault Synchron. If you open Stardust Synchron and tuning, it's like this is a great extender to like grab to like make more Synchro 8s or whatever you want. Also, its tribute effect in the graveyard actually comes up a lot. There's a line that you can perform that uses not Magnemite, Lubellion and Assault Synchron, and these two cards on their own is Baron Dispatter, which is super clean. So if you have like Lubellion plus tuning, and they like Ash your Stardust, like you can just use these two cards to go into Baron Dispatter. So it's like it's a super like clean card. Assault is a really cool card. I'm a really big fan. So and it also increases the output of your end board if you have it in rotation. So and you'll see why when I get to the extra deck. So these are your tuners, and then your search target off Stardust Synchron is Arrive in Light. This card is awesome. This is such a cool card. So basically, when activated, you place a level 1 dragon on top of your deck. In this case, you're playing Converging Wills. Converging Wills, when placed on top of the deck and then drawn, when drawn, allows you to special summon itself for free. And then if you control a level, I think it's a level 8 or higher dragon synchro, in the same effect when it summons itself, you can also summon a level 1 dragon from your deck, which in this case is Brotar. And when Brotar is summoned, he has a effect that you can target a card on the field for cost, discard a card for effect, and then search a monster that you that is the same type and attribute than the one that you targeted for its effect. So in this case, you can target Converging Wills when it's summoned, and you get to search for a light dragon. And funnily enough, the Bystial Lubellion is a light dragon. So through the combo, you actually search Lubellion, which gets your whole regained line into play, which is insane. It like, even if it's like this combo can play through Nib pretty efficiently because you get to set up regained and you get to search Bystials and you just get so much follow-up that it's just like yeah, this little interaction is so clean. It does mean that you play one brick, which is Brotar. Brotar in your opening hand means it just sucks. This is like the one card you don't want to draw. Like you can draw Converging Wills, doesn't matter, because Arrive in Light says that you can place any level 1 dragon from your hand or deck. So even if you draw it, you can just still do the combo by placing it back on top of the deck. But if you draw Brotar, it's kind of like it's not ideal. So this is like the one brick in the deck that you have to play. But it's definitely worth it because of the amount of like advantage that it gives you. So this is your tuner lineup along with the two level 1s, and yeah, these cards are just insane. I would be activating tuning all day, and people would be going like, huh? Because like no one was expecting any sort of like Synchron type stuff to be played. So it was super clean. Also, Stardust Synchron can revive itself from the graveyard for free, which is a great like secondary tuner to have by just tributing a monster, and usually the monster you're tributing is Brotar, and you'll see that in the combo. And then it's just another level 4 body. And then it banishes itself when it leaves the graveyard, leaves the field, like after you use that effect, which is also good because then you can summon it back off Dispatter because it banishes itself, and that's just another level 4 tuner. So it's on its own, and the combo is 3 level 4 tuners. So crazy card. This card is awesome. I love this card. And then for the non-engine, since we cut 3 Bystials, we can play 6 non-engines. So I was playing 3 Ash, 3 Veiler. These cards are great. Like I said, again, I played against 3 Fire King, and Ash is just so good on Island. that it was great. I played the Effect Veiler because I wanted like something to try and hit Rescue Ace that wasn't imperm, because the level 1, like this being a level 1 tuner in this deck is really nice because some of the cards I play in the extra deck, like Sleipnir is a level 9 Runic monster, so you can just use any Runic spell, summon Sleipnir, normal summon this, make Baron. It's like, that's like super nice if your hand is like not really like combo, it's like just a bunch of Runic spells and stuff like that. You can just make Baron on the side, which is like quite nice. And then also Arrive in Light says that whenever you synchro summon, you draw a card, which is how you put Converging on top of your deck, and then when you synchro summon, you draw one card. And then that's how you get the Converging online. But also it has a second effect that says whenever you synchro summon, you can special summon a tuner from your hand. So if you have enough extenders in your hand, or they stop your plays enough, if you make a synchro summon, you can summon Effect Veiler from your hand, and then use Sleipnir to make a level 10 synchro, or Chaos Angel, or whatever you want. And it just gets like another body on the field. I also play Anima in the extra deck. I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler, but playing Anima means that just throwing a level 1 body on the field is sometimes nice. So yeah, that's why we played Effect Veiler. And yeah, these cards were great all day. So that's the main deck. 40 cards total. Super clean. I like the ratios a lot. And yeah, it worked out great. So we can go to the extra deck real quick. So we were playing the Runic lineup of 1 Hugin, 1 Gary, 1 Sleipnir. I know some of the other builds like play like 2 Hugin or something along those lines, but honestly, like I would want 2 Gary, at least in this version. I think I might end up cutting something for another Gary. And Sleipnir was just insane, like all day. This card just being like a pseudo like SP at home, like just comes up so much. If you have Sleipnir plus SP on the field like at the same time too, it's just so good. So these cards were great. I would want to play 2 Gary if I was to change anything here, and yeah. So those are the Runic names. For synchros, we were playing Coral Dragon, Excel. This is for the Assault Synchron and Libellion combo. You need to play this so you can end on Baron Dispatter with those 2 cards. So this card's also just good. If you have Excel in the grave, you can just use 2 level, just make a level 8 synchro, summon this back, make a 10. This card's just really good. And then we have our combo enablers. We have Red Dragon Archfiend and Scarred. These are the 2 cards you have to play in your extra deck that make the combo work. So you need to play them if you want to do this combo version. But yeah, they're literally just here for combo. Never once did I attack with Red Dragon Archfiend to like blow up things, or like attack with Scarred and book. It's like that never came up. They were always in the graveyard just chilling. So they're literally just here for combo. Then the level 10s, we're playing Chaos Angel, Dispatter, Changing, Baron, and that's it for the level 10s. All of these came up in every single game. This card is crazy against Fire King, as I learned in the middle of the tournament, but it was after I had played my 3rd Fire King, and I didn't play any after that. But yeah, Changing is crazy. I should have made it more often. I kind of forgot it was in my extra deck a little bit, and I should have made it a lot more because this card is really good right now. And then for the other synchros, we're playing Legatia, the Centurion card. This you summon at the end of the combo to just draw an extra card, and then it also protects your SP because it has a secret effect that says all your monsters with 2,000 or less attack can't be destroyed by battle. So that came up like 2 or 3 times this past week when people tried to beat into my SP, and then I was just like, yeah, that's fine, I'll take the damage. And then like, goes to the graveyard, right? I'm like, no, it doesn't. And it definitely like caught some people off guard. So yeah, this card is really good. And then for a little bit of silliness, we're playing Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. So this card is awesome for one. Just being able to like summon this card on the field and seeing my opponents go like, can I read that real quick? Just made my day. This card is crazy. It's an Omni Negate and Banish, which is a really good effect against like Fire King and a lot of those decks because it gets their cards out of rotation. And then it banishes itself until the end phase, and then comes back during the end phase, just like SP. So you get to negate, and then it protects itself to the end of the turn, and then comes back. And then on your turn, it's just a imperm. You can target a card and negate it, and it's not until the end of the turn. It's a permanent negation, kind of like how Tearlance Sulic works, is because it doesn't have any end of turn phase clause on it. So it's just to negate something permanently on the field, one monster on the field, which is great. And then also it's just 4,000 attack, so you can just beat over everything, which is great. And if you have Excel in the graveyard, it gets to attack twice. So incredibly good card. You make it using Converging Wills and Dispatter, and you can actually, that's like, you just like end on an Omni Negate, and then on your opponent's turn, since you have Regain set up, you just bring Dispatter back, so it's like super free. And you get Dispatter plus Shooting Majestic, which is like crazy. So yeah, this card's awesome. I summoned it like every single game. It's super cool, and I just love it so much. And then the last two cards we were playing was the one Anima and one SP. So these cards are both just great. This is a good board breaker. You have a lot of level 1s in the deck that just end up on the field. So just being able to like use 2 of them, go into Anima. You don't even have to take anything, but then just make SP afterwards. Just having that like extra deck monster to make HP just makes it so much better. So these 2 cards were, of course, really, really good all day long. SP is insane. So yeah, that's the extra deck. Then for the side deck, we were playing pretty standard side, I think. We had 2 more Bystial names that I just added in if the matchup depended on it. And I just thought these 2 were the best ones to add more variety to the names. Sarnir can also be like a combo enabler, so I wanted more of those. So yeah, these 2 were really good. Played 3 Nib in the side. I think this is better in the side, and thank you, Drew and Pat, for talking me out of playing this in the main deck instead of the Ashes, because I had these in for the Ashes instead, because I wanted more like blowout cards, but they said Ash was better against Fire King, and they were completely correct. Ash is crazy. But I was super glad this was on the side. I didn't see it very much. I sided in a bunch, but I didn't see it very much. But it did win me a Fire King matchup, a game, because he played into it, and that was really good. 3 Droll and Lockbird. Funnily enough, this is the card I never sided in. A single game, I never sided in Droll and Lockbird. I didn't play against any combo heavy decks. I didn't play against any Vanadium or anything like that. So yeah, I don't think there was a single game where I sided in Droll. I wouldn't take it out of my side deck, but it's just I didn't see any matchup where it would have just been a blowout. So yeah. And then 3 DD Crow. This card is so good. I was scared of the fire decks, Fire King especially. So yeah, crowing Runics is just insane. Crowing like any of their like Sinful Spoil package cards are crazy. One of my Rescue Ace games, not Rescue Ace games, one of my Fire King games, I had 2 of these in my opener, and I DD Crowed the level 4 that adds any Fire King from deck to hand in the draw phase. He called buyed it, and then I just DD Crowed the Runics in his grave too, and after that he like couldn't really play through it, which was really funny. So yeah, Crow came up a lot. I sided in it a lot, and it performed like really, really well. Next, for going first, I would side out either 3 Ash or 3 Veiler for 2 talents and 1 called by. This was I sided these in a lot, and they were okay. There was one game where I like Fountain drew like 2 cards that I needed to see more Runic names, and I saw talents, and it just did nothing because it was my opponent's turn, which kind of sucked. But besides that, I had a couple games where yeah, I just like draw into talents during the combo, like after they hand trap me, like look at their hand and then just blow them out afterwards. So called by also came in. Funny story about this called by. This called by won me a game against Tyr because I opened it in my opener and I did my combo, and he didn't have any hand traps, and I set it, and then on his turn he milled 3 with Scream, milled Scattershot, and then activated the effect of Scattershot. I called by'd it, and then he couldn't deal enough damage to kill me because I had gained life with Munin, which is the last card in my extra deck. Because this was going into time, so I was up by 1,000 life points, and I called by his Scattershot, and he just had no way to recur it, so he couldn't even loop it with the shufflers or anything like that. So I won that game in time. which was really funny. And then yeah, speaking of the last card in the side deck was the one Munin. This is the time card. I won 4 matches in time with Munin. This, like, if I didn't have this card in the side deck, I would have lost so many more rounds. So this card is just really, really good for time. Just any Runic spell, being able to just like crap this out, just keep going through your plays, and then just go to the end phase, gain 1,000 life points, and then they have their main phase to try and figure out what they're going to do. Yeah, I won a lot of games in time this weekend, which I'm not too happy about, but all the games were just so good. They were just so grindy that, like, you need a time card, especially in Runic. So that's the whole deck. I was super happy with it. Everything worked out like it should, and yeah, let me do the combo real quick just to show it, because I think it's super cool. So the entire combo just requires the level 4, a Runic spell, and then any discard to play. So you have a couple ways to this, and you have so many Runic spells that, like, this is almost like guaranteed in every opener. So yeah, so you would the combo is you normal summon Stardust, you grab Arrive in Light. Arrive in Light puts Converging on top of your deck when you activate it. You use Destruction to summon Gary. You make these into a level 8 Synchro. This is where you go into Scarred. Scarred summon, Arrive in Light triggers to draw 1 card. So you draw 1 card. It's Converging. You summon Converging, which then in turn summons Brotar. You Brotar, target Converging, and you discard the 1 card that you have left over in your hand. You grab Lubellion. Lubellion Search grabs Magnamut to your hand. You switch out Lubellion for Scarred, and Scarred triggers to summon RDA from your extra deck. You activate Lubellion. This sets up Regained, which is super nice. Also, the nib line for people would usually nib like right here, and that's like you still end on like basically like almost full combo, which is pretty cool. So but I don't have time to show that line, but so you're here. And now from here, your deck could do whatever you want. It's like in this position, like you could, whatever you have in your extra deck, you could like kind of just like make it up as you go along. But this is like the version that I was doing. So now you'll summon Magnamut by banishing Gary. You can go Chainlink 1 Regain, Chainlink 2 Magnamut, and this shuffles Gary back and you draw a random card. Now you can Stardust, tribute the Brotar. This locks you into Synchro monsters when you do this. So that's like the one thing you have to, if you want to make SP, you need to have basically just like any other Runic spell in your hand. So before this, you just make any Runic. You can make Gary again, you can make whatever again, and you just use Gary plus Red Dragon Archfiend or the Bystial Rebellion to make SP, and you just leave it up there, and then it's still like the whole line. Yeah. So then you can use these two. Go into Dispatter. This will banish the Stardust Synchron since it left the field after it used its effect. Use Bystial Dispatter to bring it back. You can use these two to go into your Legatia, which then draws you another card. And then from here, like I said previously, you can use like any Runic spell to make like another card to make SP here, or before you use the trigger Stardust Synchron, you can turn these two into SP. So this would be your end board. Most of the time, I had another Runic spell in my hand, so I would make SP using that beforehand, and then that leaves Converging Wills on the field. Which means that Converging Wills plus Dispatter is your Shooting Majestic Star, because Shooting Majestic Star requires a Majestic Dragon and then 1 non-tuner monster, including a Dragon Synchro, and it's a level 11, so you have 1 plus 10, which goes into shooting, and this is treated as Majestic Star Dragon when it's on the field. So then this would be your end board. And then on your opponent's turn, whenever they normal summon anything, you bring back Dispatter, which actually triggers Arrival Light to draw another card because a Synchro monster was special summoned. So that's super nice, especially if you have Fountain up. Like, you just bring back Dispatter and then you get to draw more cards, which is super nice. But this is your typical end board would be these 3 monsters on the field and this still in your extra deck. But most of the time you can end on this instead, which is actually much nicer because you get the bring back Dispatter and draw a card off Arrival Light. So it's like that's like a much nicer combo because you're getting more card draw and you get Dispatter plus Shooting Star instead of just Dispatter. But typically, like, this is like your end board that you're looking at. So you have an SP that can't get beaten over by, you have because of Legatia, and you have Dispatter on the field. Plus, like, any amount of, like, because you drew like 2 cards, plus you have the 2 other cards in your hand, so you can set cards. You might have Ash Imperms or Ash Revealers or anything like that in your hand. And you also, during the end phase, get your Magnemite Search, so you'll have Druisworm as well in your hand, which is super nice. So yeah, that's the combo. That's kind of like that's what it looks like. And of course, like, if you open up different variations, you can end on like a bunch of different things. Like, if you had a tuning in your hand, you could have Assault Synchron be in the graveyard with like with like any other card, and that's also like really good because Assault Synchron plus Shooting Majestic means it's 2 Omni Negates and banishes, because when Shooting Majestic Star activates its effect to Omni Negate, it banishes itself by tributing it. And since it's a tribute of a Synchro monster, Assault can trigger, and you can banish it and then bring this back. And the Omni Negate on this is not once per turn because it banishes itself. So you get a second Omni Negate and banish if you have a Assault Synchron in rotation. And then you can, on your next turn, you can bring back Assault with Dispatter or anything like that to just put it back in the graveyard, and then this becomes a double Omni Negate every turn, which is just crazy. So yeah, that's the deck. It's super fun to play, and like I said, like when you're at the point in the combo where you just have 2 level 8 bodies, Magnemite in hand, converging, and like Brotar with Stardust in the grave, you can do whatever you want from this position. There's like so many things you can do like in this position with like this card advantage that is just so free. You can switch up your extra deck however you want to play however you want. And yeah, like I was doing combo lines before, like where instead of Legatia as a level 12 target, you would make Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon would target the Bystial Dispatter, and then you'd summon out the regular Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, which is an Omni Negate and a board wipe in the same effect, which is also just crazy. And the regular Shooting Majestic Star Dragon has an effect where it returns itself during the end phase, but a interaction by Arrival Light prevents that, because Arrival Light says that any Synchro monster that mentions Stardust Dragon can't be returned from the field to the extra deck or hand. So that actually came up a few times when people tried to Typhon me. They would normal summon, go into Typhon while I had Shooting Majestic Star Dragon on the field, and they would Typhon effect to bounce, and I'd be like, all right, that's fine. I can't activate any of my effects to negate it. And they target Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, and I'm just like, that's fine. And it just stays on the field, and there's like, it goes back to the extra. I'm like, no, it doesn't actually. And then they read Arrival Light, and they're like, oh. And then the next turn I can just beat over it, just flashing fire. It doesn't matter. It's just like, that happened twice, and it was very funny both times. So yeah, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed, and try and come up with some different combos for it and stuff like that. I think the Stardust Synchron stuff is really, really cool. And Synchro Summoning is just awesome. So yeah, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good rest of your day.